Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Joshua and this is episode 3 of the Realtor Rebrand series. So in this episode, we are going to be creating some brand materials. In the last episode, we created the logo and I am happy with where we got to. So in this episode, I will be showing you how my process is in terms of creating mockups, creating presentation materials and other brand materials that the brand will be using in the long run. So before I get started, the number one thing I like to do is to do some research and get some inspiration all over the internet, all over again, to see what kind of things I can create, what kind of materials I can create for a real estate brand. I just wanted to mention this before going deep into the video that I see a lot of young designers make this mistake, especially when they are presenting their projects on Behance, and you just go ahead and use all sorts of mockups that are kind of irrelevant to the idea of the brand. You want to make sure that whenever you're working on a brand, the mockups that you're using or the materials that you're designing are relevant to the use of the brand, are going to be useful to the brand's purpose in the long run. Imagine designing a billboard for someone who sells candles, for example. That's weird because except it's a really big candle brand, they probably won't be using a billboard, so they probably need other things like the packaging. In fact, designing business cards and letterheads sometimes may not be appropriate. So you want to make sure in essence that whatever you are doing, you are thinking about the brand, and we'll get right into that in a little bit. So after doing my research, I've listed a couple of things that I'm going to be designing for the brand tentatively. So I probably want to design a brochure or some brochures, maybe two brochures. You know, as a realtor, a real estate agent, you need to offer people flyers or brochures to, read through the purpose of your brand and what you can do to help them. The second thing I want to design in this video is a presentation deck. So I imagine that as a realtor, you have a presentation deck that you offer to your clients on request to basically walk them through the region in which you sell houses or the kind of houses that you have on sale and the plans, the accessibility, and other details that will be interesting to someone who is looking for a home. The third thing I want to design is obviously stationery. As a realtor, stationery is important to you because you are going to be signing documents, you're going to be handing out business cards, you're going to be using pens and stuff. So it could be nice to have those things branded. It will be nice actually to have those things branded and to be aligned with the look of your brand. I also want to design a landing page. So the landing page is just, kind of like an inspiration for the Behance presentation. I want to show a landing page, what the landing page could look like. Maybe just the hero section of the landing page, just to get some inspiration going for the feel of the brand in the digital form. And one final thing that I want to do is office space. Not basically modeling a office space, just, getting a picture and treating it to look like it could belong to the Rain Butcher's brand in terms of colors, in terms of what's on the wall, in terms of lighting. Essentially, what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to create a seal. Basically, I decided to step back a bit before designing any brochure to see if I can play with the logo a little bit more. Maybe I can come up with a pattern. It's not like pattern is absolutely necessary, but they didn't seem to be working out because of the weight of the logo mark. So an idea popped in my head to create a seal as well, because the brand, one thing we know about the brand is the quality assurance, is the fact that the brand is experienced, and a seal or a stamp to show that we give a feeling of authenticity and originality, if that makes sense in some way. So that's why I'm creating a seal. So I have begun to design the brochure, like I said, and I want you to know that the main idea is basically to showcase the visual direction for the brand. If I was working with a real life client, I'll probably have content and a purpose for this brochure. The purpose is supposed to achieve, and a lot more planning will probably go into it than it is right now. So I'm just kind of free rolling it, looking for images and colors and content that can basically give off the vibe that we're trying to give off for the brand. I also want to mention that I am not a copywriter, so pardon my copywriting. If I was working on a real life project, I would most likely use a professional copywriter. So what I've tried to do is I've tried to make the language seem very approachable and very soft, just like we wanted the brand to feel, while still, maintaining that professional feel overall. So I finished designing the brochure, and this is the result in the mocked up version. I'm pretty satisfied with where I got to. So now I want to proceed to design the PowerPoint deck. So for the PowerPoint deck, as I have said earlier in the video, the idea is just to have like a catalog sort of the houses that are on sale, and to also show like the team members and maybe about the company or something. I don't need to design the entire thing, just a few pages to show in the mocked up version and in the presentation. Now, I want you to take note that as I am designing, the icons that I'm using are in line with the style of the brand. I'm using line icons, I'm using soft icons that don't have hard edges or feel too rigid or too sharp. Usually, when you are working on a bigger project, the main thing that will be expected from you is that you should design an icon set for them as well. But for this one, I am not designing an icon set. I'm basically just going all over the internet, free pick and flat icon being my major sources, to get all these icons and see what works and what fits for the purpose that I want to use them for. So you've come to the end of the video, essentially, right? These are the results on the screen as I'm, going through them. These are just mockups, basically. And if you notice, I haven't really done much of color correction on these things. So the main lesson here is that you don't just want to create a logo, create a pattern, and start slapping it on everything you see. You want to really take a step back and intentionally design stuff to show your clients or even for your presentation. So next week, in the next episode, what I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be combining all these things into a presentation. Like I said at the beginning of the series, it will be the final and the bonus video for you to see how I work on presenting my project on Behance or even to clients. I'll show you how to create a case study. So that is where color correction will be most important, because you don't want that discrepancy in terms of tone or vibe, going off in every section of your presentation. So till next week, I hope you stay safe and beyond next week, I guess. See you next time.